There are many ways to experience discontent in love, but a category that has drawn attention in modern psychology involves relationships, quite abundant in number, where one of the parties is labeled as avoidant in their love attachment patterns, and the other as anxious. Attachment theory is the phrase assigned to a collection of ideas about how we love and the role of childhood therein, initially formulated by the English psychologist John Bowlby in the 50s and 60s. It categorizes humanity into three groups based on varying capabilities to behave with confidence and trust in intimate relationships. Firstly, there are those who are securely attached, having reliable and positive childhood experiences, and now anticipating positive treatment from those they love. They are fortunate individuals capable of empathy and generosity, and communicate with honesty and straightforwardness about their emotional and physical needs. Around 50% of the population is presumed to be securely attached. This leaves two intriguing deviations from health, induced by some form of early parental letdown and trauma. The first type of attachment pattern is termed avoidant, the second as anxious. What complicates matters is that avoidant and anxious individuals are often drawn to forming intimate relationships with one another. It's part of their pathology where their diverse emotional quirks contribute to a notably fraught combination. An anxiously attached person in a relationship will exhibit the characteristic, a sensation of not feeling properly valued and loved. They would tell themselves, like so much more closeness, tenderness, touch, and intimacy, and are convinced that such a union could be possible. The person they are with, however, seems to them embarrassingly and hurtfully detached. They never seem to desire them with as much intensity as they offer them. They are deeply saddened by their coolness and distance and gradually fall into moods of self-loathing and rejection, feeling unappreciated and misunderstood, as well as vengeful and resentful. For a long time, they might keep silent about their frustrations until, eventually, desperation erupts. Even if it is an inappropriate moment, perhaps they and their partner are fatigued and it's past midnight, they won't be able not to insist on addressing the issues right now. Predictably, these sorts of disagreements go awry. The anxious lover loses their calm. They exaggerate and drive their points home with such intensity that they leave their partner convinced that they are upset and unkind. A securely attached partner might know how to pacify the situation, but an avoidant one certainly doesn't. Sadly, this avoidant party triggers every insecurity known to their anxious lover. Under pressure to be warmer and more connected, the avoidant partner instinctively withdraws and feels overwhelmed and harassed. They get cold and detach from the situation, only further escalating the partner's anxiety. Beneath their silence, the avoidant one resents feeling, as they put it, controlled. They have the impression of being targeted, unfairly persecuted, and disturbed by the other's neediness. They may quietly fantasize about going off to have an encounter with someone else entirely, ideally a total stranger, or going into another room and reading a book, but probably not one about psychology. It greatly aids to know that this is not your relationship exclusively. It's a type of relationship, and there are literally millions of these types of relationships unfolding on the planet at any given time. Even better, the causes of the distress, which feel so personal and so offensive, are indeed general phenomena, well examined and mapped by serious researchers in lab coats. The solution, as always, is simply knowledge and becoming acutely aware in the moment of feeling emotionally triggered. There is a substantial difference between acting out on one's avoidant or anxious impulses, and as would be preferable, instead understanding and acknowledging these triggers, understanding where they originated from, and explaining to ourselves and others why they make us feel and do what we do. Most of us cannot be wholly and healthy in love, but we can be something almost as beneficial. We can evolve into people devoted to communicating our unhealthy, trauma-driven behavior in good time before we have become excessively angry and act out on our impulses and hurting others too much, and apologizing for our actions after they have run their course. There are few things more romantic, in the true sense, than a couple who has learned to tell one another with humor and composure that they have been triggered in an avoidant or an anxious direction but are doing everything they can to get on top of things and hope to be normal again in a little while. If you want to learn more about attachment theory, let us know in the comments section. We will bring you more content explaining this theory in greater detail. Please show us your support by liking and subscribing to our Deep About Life channel.